Oil production in Azerbaijan has been recorded for a number of decades, and we're talking now to the Chief Executive of Zenith Energy, Andrea Cattaneo. Andrea, we've spoken before about the assets that you've got in Azerbaijan. You've been talking about your program of working the old wells and bringing them up to speed and doing all the work needed. How are things going? What's happening in Azerbaijan for you at the moment?
Well, good evening first, and I should say that we are very pleased in Azerbaijan for many factors. First, the country is one of the biggest oil producers today, not only in the history. As you said, since 1846, Azerbaijan was producing oil, the first producing country in the world that at a certain moment made 50% of all the oil in the world. But still today is number 15 and is very important in hydrocarbons, especially gas, and as well in crude oil. And ourselves, we started with just below 300 barrels. We are at the moment recorded at 350, so a small increase apparently, but a very big increase in terms of reorganization of the structure. It's the oldest, it's the largest field of the country, 642 square kilometers, near 1% of the surface of Azerbaijan, and we have $2 billion of 2P reserves. So that shows the magnitude of our field, the biggest onshore field in one of the biggest oil countries in the world.
And I think something else that actually is interesting is the fact the costs are very low on this, aren't they?
Costs are very low because it's onshore, and our target for next April is $11 American dollars per barrel. At the moment we are doing a cost of around $17 American dollars per barrel. So we are already going down in cost and then make us with the oil Brent at 57, 58, 59 in the last 3 weeks, a very good profit, which we do already. Of course, is all reinvested in the capex because we have a massive capex program. And as you know, we are not an explorer, we are not a win or break company. We have an industrial process, and we are making 40 workovers and 142 new wells. So this is massive. To do that, we have, of course, to adapt our structure of the capital equipment of the company. So what we are doing is focusing very much in evolution and technical enhancement of the equipment. We are buying a newest technology workover rig, and we are buying as well a drilling rig.
And you're buying that out of your cash flow, are you?
We are buying in long financing.
Right.
The industry of rigs is severely damaged by the reduction of investment by the majors, so they have a big desire to sell new equipment, and to do so, Chinese, German, Italians, export agency banks or insurance program, they give financing to us between 4 and 7 years.
Yeah.
So this permits us to buy equipment of which the mortgage or the leasing will correspond to a fraction of the renting of the same equipment, but the result of it will be that at the end of the financing we own the equipment.
Yeah. What about the production targets that you've got in mind?
You know, it's still 1,000 barrels for the first per day for the 1st of April. I am assured by our team that is composed by excellent people coming from North America. We have a new CEO since a few months, Mike Palmer, and 4 Calgarian very high quality managers. So we have now maybe the best team in the region onshore, with proven result in the past careers in Azerbaijan as well. So that is very comforting, and things have been delayed by a slow start, but you know, we are an industry, we are not an explorer speaking about one well, another project. We are making, as I said, 40 workover and 142 new wells in the years to come, but in the months to come to start with. So we have a huge program, and the only problem is the trivias, some delays for slow delivery of material from some big companies which are slow in their internal logistic, some problem with roads, some problem with climate, but we have been doing all the necessary infrastructural movement to go to 1,000.
What about shareholder returns? How do you intend to reward shareholders?
Well, the majority of our shareholders are keen in being rewarded by an increase of the stock price. And the increase of the stock price has been disappointing so far.
Yeah.
Because the main point is that a lot of people that were in the IPO, then when the stock went to 100% increase to 14 pence, sold. There were massive capital taking, profit taking sales, and this has damaged our stock price, returning for a while down to the IPO price. Now again we are in movement, but still the market doesn't realize our value. And so the only solution, in my opinion, will be when a new corporate shareholder will, a cornerstone shareholder that we are debating, especially in Asia, to come in our shareholders base, will come. And if he comes, and if we will allow him to come, he will pay 40, 50, 60 pence per share. So in front of a major paying this amount for 10%, people should eventually realize that the real value of a Zenith share is much more than what it is in the market now.
So you're saying that you are trying to get an institutional shareholder on the books?
Not institutional shareholders, because this we are trying always, but it's a process in the London Stock Exchange. Will take months, is an evolution of acquaintance, but our activity has been recognized by big oil companies to be good, to be scout, and to be operator. You know, two values that are not assessed and are not really recognized in the market. The first, scouting, because everybody recognized that to get the biggest oil field in Azerbaijan has been quite a monumental event for the company, because it's not easy to take a field in Azerbaijan, which is a country of majors. We are the only junior in Azerbaijan, all the other are majors. Statoil, BP, Exxon, Lukoil, all the people are multi-million, Petronas, multi-billion dollars company. So we are the only small company in the panorama. But still we make it, still we work very warmly with SOCAR, which is a state oil company, which is a very sort of paternalistic, nice, accommodating, but still is used in their parameters to work only with majors. So when we talk with them, they say, well, you should do the parameters of Total, and you know, it's very rewarding to do the same papers as Total, but it's a big sort of task for a junior to make the same quality work of Total. So it's what we are doing, and then the second thing that we have is that we are operator. The market doesn't recognize our value because we do everything by ourselves. I told you that as well. We will drill with our own rig, so there is a big value in being able to do these things internally. This is what some oil company of bigger dimension want to find attraction in Zenith.
Just talk a little bit more about the growth strategy from here and how you see things developing.
Well, you know, simply we have a lot of fixed cost in our oil production in Azerbaijan. So the fact that we will triple our production, of course, change the revenues panorama and the profitability. We are already profitable, but will become much more profitable when we make 1,000 barrels and so on. Our target for 2019 is 3,000 barrels, and we should remember that our field was making an average of proven in the prospectus 15,000 barrels per day before. So it's not that we are inventing anything new with old technology, with Soviet technology. So with new technology that we are adapting, we should be able to do at least as the people were doing before.
What's stopping you speeding up that process of increasing production? Because I think when I spoke to you earlier this year, you were hoping to get something close to 1,000 barrels a day by the end of this year.
No, by the end of the fiscal year.
At the end of the fiscal year,
which is 31st of March.
Okay.
Always the same target.
So beginning.
We are keeping the same target, but we are a little bit behind the schedule.
Right. Okay. Well, there's nothing wrong in that necessarily, but obviously investors want to see progress being made, which clearly it is being made. Would you like to see it stepped up? Is there an opportunity to step up production?
Well, step up production can be done with much bigger capital, but you know, we are in standard. We cannot raise any more money this year, and without issuing a complicated prospectus. So I think that our activity will be to have more capital by debt, and so using supplier credit and equipment credit, in a way that we have a bigger capital to use for capex, but without diluting. We have one of the smallest number of shares in the market, 129 million shares, when the majority of our colleagues, they have 1 billion. And so that for our investors is a very important point to remember, that they have a fraction of 1 divided 129 million of a company that has a net equity of 600 million Canadian dollar. So the fact that there is such big gap between our market cap and our net equity and our 2 billion 2P reserves is something to remember. You know, if we dilute, they will lose advantage. If we don't dilute, as we are doing at the moment, shareholders can expect to go to £1. Mathematically, I'm not saying just as a promoter, which I'm not, at least not a good one. And it's just a mathematical calculation.
Your CEO, do you own stock? You do, presumably?
Yeah. The board has together, and I am one of the biggest, 10%, and then sort of fund club of various relative things, another 10%, and then there is a Swiss bank, 10%, and then a fund, GRIT, Global Resource Investment Trust, 3%, and then all the rest is actively traded in London, where we have a lot of liquidity.
Yeah. This time next year, you've got 1,000 barrels expected a day by the end of March, and then where?
And then, you know, we will see. We are very keen in making an acquisition at the moment, and we think that the situation with our very strong CEO has been settled in Azerbaijan, and the board can focus in our next panorama to add to Azerbaijan, and so we are keen to make another acquisition, and this can be making bigger the company, which is something that is not vanity, but is useful, because if you have a big market cap, you have better advisor, better employees, better managers, more cash to fund your equipment, so it's necessary.
Yep, a small cap, but big ideas.
Yeah, well.
Andrea, thanks so much indeed. Andrea Cattaneo is the Chief Executive of Zenith Energy.